feel the difference between someone who is, this is not for you, it's an example for you, of someone who is seeking a healing, which is absolutely upstream, and allowing wellness, which is downstream. Can you feel the difference?
Right.
So many people are looking for the results, and they are so pointed upstream. They're so intense about it and so determined about it. And we want to say, you don't have to work hard. You've already done your work by living life which caused you to ask for it. And Source has already done the work by aligning things up, and law of attraction is the real workhorse behind all of it. Your work, if there is any, is to trust the stream. To trust that if you were to let go of those oars, that you've done enough in the living of life to put it in vibrational escrow, and the Source is reliable enough to bring you in this massively moving stream toward what you want. So it's not necessarily, not even a trusting in your ability. It's a bigger trust than that. It's a trust or faith in the stream. And what we have given you as a result of what you've been reading, we've given you a framework in which you now understand the current of the universe, you see. And so that's what we want you to practice your trust in. We want you to say to yourself, well, the stream is flowing, and I can paddle upstream if I want to, and I can tell I am because I don't feel so good. This tension tells me that I'm doing that. And if you will just work a little bit on the sensation of letting go of the oars, as some of the earlier processes that we offered, one was a particularly popular process called pivoting. And what it says is, whenever I know what I don't want, I also know more clearly what I do want. But we see people working so hard to find that positive thought, and law of attraction just won't give you a really positive thought when you've been feeling really negative, but it will give you a slightly less negative thought. Isn't that my saying to the universe, let me stay here? And we say, no. When you make peace with where you are, you stop resistance, and then you can really go to where you want to be, you see. So in very short terms, we would say to you, if we were to give you an unfair label that accurately depicts the energy of your being, you try too hard. You work too hard at things. And it comes from wanting to please others. It comes from having a lot of responsibilities. It comes from a lot of people counting on you. It comes from all of those things, but it doesn't serve you. And it doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve anyone. So just let your mantra be, I'm doing fine. Everything's all right. That the words, in the same way that you would soothe anyone, soothe yourself. It's all right. I'm doing just fine. No big thing here. Jerry and Esther have a dear friend who says, there's nothing serious going on here. No matter what, there's nothing serious going on here. Just anything that diffuses. And in a little while, you will feel that visceral shifting. You will feel, even though you don't see solution, you don't see immediate result, you don't have an instant answer to a question, you'll feel the turning in the stream. And when that is what you're reaching for, things become so easy. You're just looking for a way to give yourself a sensation of relief, and not always just at the time that you're looking for that. You're wanting to show yourself that you have the ability to focus. That's all it is. So you are very receptive to energy. Even the fact that you're receiving blocks of thought, you're receptive to energy, which means we imagine bookstores drive you pretty much insane. When you walk into an environment where there's a lot of energy and you're picking up on all of it, it can feel very chaotic, and you wouldn't feel any ease until you actually focus on something. And so the exercise of focusing your mind will stop that scattered sort of feeling. The exercise, there's someone now. the
Put them on pause.
The exercise of quieting your mind is only an exercise of focus. That's all it is. And which sounds sort of opposite, doesn't it? Because it sounds like what we're saying is, don't think about anything. And then we say, and to quiet your mind, think about something. Focus is the key to feeling good, because you are vibration, and focusing is tending to your vibration. And if you're not deliberately thinking thoughts, the thoughts that are buzzing around you will give you the sensation of thinking you. When you walk into a room of people who are thinking a lot of different things, and you're not focused upon something, you don't have intentions of your own, but you're open to vibration, it can be a very chaotic experience for you, you see.
Well, why, when I was deliberately thinking while I was having the massage, I am really relaxing, and I was doing deep breathing, and I wasn't getting there?
Well, again, you are getting there little by little.
I am?
You don't
Okay.
ask for a complete personality transplant overnight. And
how about a lobotomy?
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it.
It's not me. I couldn't create anything then.
You would, but you'd be starting way over.
Okay.
We want to go back to something that you said, but when you're trying hard to quiet your mind, and even struggling in that, that's that feeling of trying too hard. And so now you want to focus on something. Fine. So pretend that your bed that you are lying on is a foam cushion, and imagine that it is so absorbing that it is literally absorbing you into it. Or imagine that it is floating on a swimming pool, and feel the flotation of it. In other words, find something to fixate on, and you'll discover that you can wind your mind down very, very quickly. And it's interesting, because deliberate creation seems like focusing, and what we're wanting you to understand is that you've been focusing as you've been moving through the contrast of life. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want. You're focusing all the time. Now the work is quieting the mind so that you're stopping any resistant thoughts, so that you can then feel the impulse to move toward what's waiting for you in vibrational escrow. Everyone is getting most of their feeling about themselves as it is being translated back from someone else. And so it's a distorted point of view that you're getting back. It's a distorted feedback that you're getting back. Where now what you're hungering for, what you're yearning for, and we are blessing the internet and Facebook and all of your interaction for this desire that is being so powerfully born within so many of you. You're hungering for your alignment with source. You are hungering for that broader perspective, and you are not just hungering for it, you're finding it. And so that's why a feeling of alignment, of attunement, a feeling of love, a feeling of well-being, it's that stability that you're reaching for. And then once you find that, and then you move out, then you can begin conveying what you're feeling. We're not trying to talk you out of words. We are an example of someone who is standing before you, knowing you, loving you, knowing you completely, loving you completely. But it would be a far lesser experience if Esther was just standing here allowing us to look at you. Because some of you are in the receptive mode where you could hear what we mean. And certainly, if we spent time together, you would feel the love that we feel for you. But isn't it nice that in this alignment, Esther is able to find words that also convey that? And so that's what you're reaching for. You're reaching for alignment first, and then everything else that you want will follow that.